Do you have an agenda for this one? If we don't.
So I hope everyone on Discord can hear us. If anyone can confirm, we are live with Owen here. This is the last AMA session of the hackathon. I hope we will have people listening this. But yeah, we are going to focus on the last bits and pieces to give suggestions to participants for the Edge Impulse Global Hackathon that we have been running during all the October. Owen, how are you? Are you excited to see the submissions?
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope that anybody who's got their submission drafted just gets in there and finishes it off. Like, there's always room to expand on your idea with the future work. Just, get in what you can and describe the rest. Can't wait to see it.
Exactly, and it's very nice because I see a lot of excitement in the Discord channel of people asking questions like the last, polishing the submissions. Like I think like 5 minutes ago, I replied a question on how long should be the video. Should it be like very long, short? What? I don't know. I just ask something like. My recommendation is use the common sense, don't overcomplicate things, just explain what you built, why you built it, and that should be enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to read stories of people of what's their problem and why they have what they are trying to solve with Edge AI, actually, or with model building.
Yeah, and it can be, there's lots of different, yeah, go on. Yeah, there's lots of different, I'm looking forward to the variety of projects in particular, like from IoT to industrial. You can see some of the industrial samples over my shoulder here, just of the Opta. It'd be really cool to see some people, focusing on some machine health examples, or maybe even you can see some little robotics projects up here from the Mindstorms kit. Like, there's a lot of different variety that you could go for sure, and wearables as well. I'm particularly interested in seeing if anyone else has picked up the likes of the latest wearable from what was the latest one that Jim made a video on? It was a
watch, like the Pebble watch.
Yeah, the Pebble. Yeah, that was a really good one for hacking on a few years ago. It'd be really cool to see if anybody did something on wearables as well.
Yeah, no, that could be super interesting. Yeah, indeed. And there is something as well that we were talking in the last AMA that was related on the AI for good. What do you expect for AI for good, or what do you think? Because we had a discussion with David and Brian of what should be AI for good.
Yeah. I'm wondering, I'm just looking around here because I know I have one of the AI for good projects from before, but particularly AI for good could be anything really. It could be, a device that you put on an animal to protect it, or it could be, a wildlife camera. So you could be using your experience with IoT technologies to transmit inference results back in a unique way from an animal or from a location, to prevent poaching, for example, or to use an animal like a guide dog in a way. Maybe you could measure some information from a guide dog. I'm not an expert in that area, so I wouldn't try and delve into what I'd be able to do there. But maybe you have, family that have an experience that you could improve through AI. Or maybe you're aware of it.
Absolutely, and I heard some people as well that are working on mental health. So how to use AI to improve mental health issues. So how to, try to make people to feel better with Edge AI. So I think there are a lot. It's not only about nature, right? It's as well about making people live better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just a number of years ago, I remember there was open source projects, for example, in insulin pumps, because it was very difficult. So, like for people who have diabetes, I'm not saying this is a good approach to be going down, but it was having a lot of trouble with FDA approval. So there was open source hardware
Okay.
in that field. I know that people have built their own types of EEG solutions for different types of conditions as well that they're aware of, or that they haven't. If you have a understanding of the parameters that that you can measure from inputs to infer an outcome, then you can probably build a solution for it. So what I mean is, like, the signals that are linked to, just for example, the signals. Okay, taking it very simply, like the fall detection algorithm that's in a wearable. So you obviously have an awareness that when somebody falls, that's a measurable thing with a sensor like an accelerometer. And actually, fall detection, it was a really interesting one, because I remember the World Health Organization figures were incredibly high for the amount of non-fatal injuries that were linked with falls, and it's kind of like it's a very interesting area to experiment with and to look into. But if you have an awareness of a certain kind of a outcome, like a fall, that you can associate with an input like an accelerometer sensor, then you should be able to build a project for it. That's what I'm trying to get at there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the other thing that I think it's interesting is that AI for good, for example, it's not related to edge application only. So you can build, you can participate on the model development track, right? And build a track that can help and can enable a lot of future developers and can become the foundational model to enable a lot of different applications, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like, you could be helping to curate a data set, open data set in a field. There's a big lack in. I know with the AI for Good project that we worked on, which was connected to landmines, for example, we noticed that there was an incredibly sparse information around landmines, and they were focusing on collecting images. And this was just kind of, the landmine project was using rats that were trained to give a body movement. So it was an accelerometer one, but they also noticed that actually identifying these landmines, it was particularly difficult. There was only a book that existed. There wasn't a data set out there. So the AI for Good project that you could be connected to could be around building the data set or curating a set of images. Yeah.
And when was that? When was that landmine project?
So that project is called the Rat Pack, and that was started, I believe, in it's a number of years running now, actually, and it's in use in Cambodia, I believe, is where Andrew's project is connected to. Yeah, but it was. Yeah, that's a particularly interesting project for sure. I'm trying to think of the other ones. The one that Louis mentioned around using patterns for identification of rhinos, that would be one where you could see where a public data set would be really valuable.
Yeah, and then there was a hackathon as well in 2020 or 2021, right, at Edge Impulse about the elephants. And it was focused on elephants with Hackster, and that was as well an interesting one with interesting submissions.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't get to participate in that one, but it looked really cool. That was a Hackster one. So yeah. Do we have any questions coming in? Let me just check on.
Can you see the chat from YouTube and LinkedIn if we have anything there? Yeah, this is a session for AMA, so if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat.
Yeah, I don't see any coming in from YouTube yet.
Okay, we have some people on Discord. If you have any questions about the Edge Impulse Hackathon, this is your last chance to ask them live.
Yeah.
If not, I think we can give like last suggestions or recommendations for participants. I'm not sure if you would give any last recommendation to the teams and to the people who participate. It's like today's 26, so it's still 4 days to participate. So still company developers still have plenty of time, right? 4 days for me, it's like a long journey.
Yeah.
So what would be your recommendations?
So I would just say get familiar with the tools that you have available. The tools that you have available, what I mean is the types of models that there are there. So it could be object detection and what that gives you. So object detection will detect an object or a number of objects in an image, and it will give you the positional information. So what do you want to do with that? Do you want to identify when certain parts are in a location where they shouldn't be? That's something that you might address with post-processing. Or do you want to classify if a person just is in an image at all? Or do you want to, or a pattern is in a signal? And what do you want to do with that then? Or do you want to do something regression where you're trying to predict the next value in a sequence, or you're trying to do something around predictive maintenance, perhaps? Or do you want to do anomaly detection? Do you want to see things that are just outside the norm and build an application or a solution around that? So just getting familiar with what tools are available, what ML tools are available, and what you can do post-processing as well in an application. That is really important to do, I think. Just if you haven't learned about FOMO yet, I'll paste a link in. You can just read about FOMO, which is our faster object detection model. It can work on very low.
So would you recommend FOMO?
Low power devices.
FOMO for object detection. And what FOMO, the 0.1 or 0.35? What do you recommend? Or do you know the differences?
Yeah, it's to do with the scale of the model. Like basically it's to do with how large the model is and how big the image is that you can classify. So I think 35 will be the better one to aim for, but you can run. So it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to run this on a low power camera? And are you happy with sacrificing some level of detections to get a longer level of battery life? So there's going to be a trade-off. Or is this in an industrial scenario where you want the highest accuracy and the lowest latency? So it kind of depends on what you want to use this for. The wildlife camera scenario, you're going to give a trade-off for sure.
And I have more questions for you, if that's fine. So when would you use, for example, the new YOLO Pro model on object classification projects?
So actually, YOLO Pro for me is a bit of a gap in my knowledge, and I need to go and read the docs on that. So I would say, I know that there are parameters and influences for YOLO Pro that I'm not fully aware of because I didn't write the documentation, and that's something I need to learn up on for sure. But we could pull up the docs and we could look through it together now if you want. Are you familiar with YOLO Pro at all?
I am not. This is one of the reasons why I was asking. Let me see how I can share screen.
And this is fundamental to Edge AI. If you need to be willing to learn and admit when you don't know something as well. It's kind of important. It's constant learning exercise. So I'm going to share my screen here.
Give me a sec.
So I'll share a window here. I'm going to do it on. Will I do it on StreamYard or on Discord?
Yeah. Share it on StreamYard, and I can press the button.
Okay. So I'm bringing up the. I'm bringing.
Oh, we have a question in the meantime on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So Nabin is asking, what time zone applies the submission deadline? So as far as I know, it's midnight Pacific time zone. So yeah, you should have some extra hours depending on your time zone. But yeah, the idea initial it's that it's midnight Pacific time zone. But don't wait till the last minute for the submission. Just try to I'm not sure if, to be honest, I haven't submitted as a test application. I'm not sure if you can submit something and then iterate it and save it. I should have tested this before. So thank you for the question, Naveen. So let me share this. Wait, sorry, this one. I want to share it this way. Okay, all yours. So yeah, when you design the impulse, it's the same.
So yeah, we're
use
on
cases. So yeah, one of the difference I saw is that you can define what's the model size.
Yeah.
That you want.
So this
Go ahead.
This comes back to your point around the 0.1 and the 0.35 with the FOMO. So just as you can with FOMO, cut your cloth to measure, so to speak, you're going to scale your model to your use case and to your hardware need. So there's trade-offs whenever you're building an Edge AI application, just like you would an IoT application. If you come from that space, you're going to give trade-offs in battery power to model accuracy. And when you're building as well, particularly with IoT, you're going to also optimize for ROM because you're going to want to save some space on your device to run all your telemetry logic and your application logic. So really, like it's a bit of a fine art, really. You're going to be trying to lower the BOM, like the amount that you spend on your device if it's a wildlife camera. So you're going to try and fit the smallest possible model for your use case, and it's really that's where Edge Impulse kind of comes into its own. It's around custom models. You're creating your own custom model for your custom use case, and you're going to scale that to your custom hardware. So at the end of the day, I know we're doing a hackathon now, but if you were using this methodology in a product design, you're not going to put a GPU into a wildlife camera that costs €600 and have the largest possible YOLO Pro model running there, because you're going to need to have a power plant nearby to power that thing, and you're going to be heating for us from that device, right? So it's it's a fine art, really. So yeah, let's get back to YOLO Pro, because this is what we're trying to learn about now. So as I'm looking down through here, I can see one of the features of YOLO Pro in particular is that we get to augmentation. And I like Brian's blog here, by the way, so I'm going to share that into the group. So if anybody wants to have a read of this blog, it's a really good one. And we're just taking a look at YOLO Pro here. This is how I approach learning about a new model. First of all, I'll definitely read the blog. I can see here that we've got augmentation, and this is really cool. This means that we can, with a smaller data set, we can use YOLO Pro to augment it and kind of get a better quality result, really, from our inference. We can apply color transformations, change the pixel color, and this looks like it becomes more flexible model that we can use. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to trying out this more, and definitely, I guess, anybody who's played with an LLM locally, for example, you're going to know that there's different scales of these models that you can get. There's different parameter counts. So if you want to run the likes of an LLM locally on your if you're using a Mac or even a Pi, you're going to go for the Pico one first. I always go for the smallest one first, because you want to get to play with it quickly. and then you're going to just want to see what the performance looks like, and then start to scale up, because obviously the larger ones will require a better data set for sure, and the inference time will be a little bit longer. You're going to have training will probably be a little bit longer too. So yeah, let's take a look here. Yeah, and there's a lot of parameters to work with here.
Yeah, a lot.
So these are all of our hyperparameters that we can set. But good thing about Edge Impulse is we've got the Eon tuner here, which is our auto ML step. So even playing around with a new model like YOLO Pro, go with the default settings, save it, and then come up here to the Eon tuner. The Eon tuner, once you click into it, you're going to be able to run that, and it'll go down through all of the hyperparameters for you, and tweak each of them, and it'll order the results by accuracy. But then you can also, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to optimize for something like ROM, where you're building a wildlife camera, you can select the Eon tuner actually as well. The Eon tuner is really, really great for that. And another thing that you can do here is you can see up here at the top right, we've got target. So with Edge Impulse, if if I wanted to see what this model will run on a GPU device or a wildlife camera, you can set that here in our target, and that will evaluate how the model is going to run on your hardware.
Exactly. And this is something interesting as well. If your hardware it's not listed as a target hardware, right? We have the option of custom hardware.
Custom hardware, yeah.
And you can just define how's your hardware, right? And if what architecture does it run, RAM, memory, and so on, and the result of the machine learning model can be optimized by your hardware.
So maybe I'll bring up a quick one where we can have a look at this with one of our object detection models, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you're seeing my screen okay now, and let me know if it's big enough.
That's
so
perfect.
Yeah, here we can go for and this is just our object detection standard one. So this is where I love this feature actually. This is one that Sarah created in the studio team about a year and a half ago now, but it's you can configure your target device. So we can pick, let's say, what do I like to work with quite regularly? Probably one of the Nordic devices. So I'm just going to pick. Actually, you know what? The Dragon Wing. We'll go for the Dragon Wing, even though this is a high-end dev kit. This is about €600. We wouldn't be sticking this on a wildlife camera. But we can just see what kind of what we're getting here. We've got 8 gigs of RAM, and this is kind of a reference design. Actually, these dev kits are all reference designs as well. So we could decide that actually we're putting 18 gigabytes of RAM into this kit. We're just basing it on this dev kit, but we're actually going to put 18 gigs on it here, and we want to get 10 milliseconds of inference time.
Okay.
So now this is configured now for our model. So any of the training and testing that we do will evaluate how this model will run on that device. And what I can do now is I can go into my Eon tuner and I can do a new run, and I can, like I said earlier, I can sort the results of the tuning space here by accuracy, latency. So if you're doing a industrial project, latency will be key here, because you want to be able to shut down production as fast as possible. Accuracy, so I guess if you're in safety critical, accuracy would probably be important. RAM, I'm just trying to think now, that's probably more the embedded space. ROM, definitely, I think ROM like just shouts out to me IoT, it's application space, it's the telemetry. And then you can go deeper here if you wanted to get into the particular class that you want to tune for. F1 score here is kind of, you can read about metrics as well. I know I mentioned that earlier, but F1 is kind of a catch-all score for ML results, and you can tune it to be better at detecting. This object detection one that we have here is a coffee and lamp detection one from our docs. So you could fine tune this sorting space to be better at detecting coffee, let's say, coffee cups. So I'm just doing the new run here. And we've got templates you can customize here. You can see here we've got a YOLO Pro one, and I think my one is object detection, bounding boxes. I'm just going to use that template, start the tuner. So now, yeah, depending on the size of your data set and you know, your tune space.
So it's gonna, what it's gonna do, it's gonna be a combinatorial neural network training to see what's the best choice for you.
Yeah,
depending
it goes
on
through. It goes through all. So the hyperparameters here in our neural network, we've got many hyperparameters. These things that we can change. These are variables that we can configure. And if we were a ML expert, like the ML team will frequently come in here and they'll change the learning rate and they'll change the validation set and they'll change the batch size. They'll also configure the architecture, so the amount of layers that are added here and the inputs. They'll configure all of these settings in our neural network, and that's what the Eon Tuner is going to go through now. It's going to go down through all of those parameters, and it's going to try. Pardon?
And tune,
yeah,
no, and check what's the best combination.
Yeah,
for your kind of...
and it will give it'll check all of the results as well. So from each of those tuned settings, it will evaluate all of the results, and then you'll get a nice easy to view kind of like a set of model cards that you can see each of the results. So it's really handy. It will take a while now, but you can see now.
Yeah,
this is the results that we get out here. So we're going to see.
And did you find anything surprising with your experience using the Eon Tuner?
Yeah, I mean, definitely for me, it's all learning. Like, so I will, you know, it'll add a lot of layers that I probably wouldn't have thought of. It'll swap out different embeddings as well. Yeah, so for me, yeah, it's all learning. To be honest, I'm kind of in the DevRel team. We do dabble in everything, but I kind of lean more on the embedded side of things. Brian, for example, who wrote this blog, he specializes more on the ML side of things. So definitely for me, every time that I use the Eon Tuner, it's kind of a learning exercise for sure. Yeah. And I lean on it.
So for people watching, this is the last AMA session before the deadline of the Edge Impulse Hackathon. So it's your last time, your last opportunity, your last chance to ask questions.
Yep.
Okay, we have a question, but in the meantime, please ask more questions.
Oh yeah.
We have Danito asking, can I request extra Edge Impulse credits for hackathon purposes, or simply use another email to register on Edge Impulse? So, what do you think, Owen?
I mean, I think this one is. I'm just looking here. We've got. So he's looking for more credits, as in like a longer training time or something like that? Yeah, I mean.
This is a good question. If you can clarify why do you need more credits for Edge Impulse? It's for the model training, or why? So what would you recommend to people who need more credit? Don't have enough with a freemium tier of 60 minutes of computation?
So I would just say focus on improving your data set, right? Look at make sure that you've got if it's an image-based one, make sure that you've got consistent distance from the object that you're taking pictures of. Make sure that you've got consistent lighting and coloring. If it's a signal-based one, make sure that you don't have a lot of noise in the signal. If you're doing, for example, activity detection one, do it in a very controlled manner. So make sure that I'm just going to try and we've got a model performance we've got a model performance document here that I want to share with people, because I find this, you don't really need more training time in a lot of cases, especially for building something for a hackathon. You shouldn't, because you're going to have a small set of data to work with to begin with. So maybe your images are too large. Maybe you should scale those down a bit.
We see your YOLO Pro, introducing YOLO Pro page still. I'm not sure if you're sharing something else, Owen.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the link. I have it here.
Okay, got it. Then something else that you can do, it's train the machine learning model outside Edge Impulse, and then use to bring your own model to bring it to. I think we talked about these 2 weeks ago on the model track session with Louis and Jim, and they were giving actually recommendations about this. So let me try to find the YouTube link for that video that I think it's gonna give an answer. But I think the best, it's to train it outside and then basically document everything and explain why you did everything and why you are not why you're using a specific systems or not.
Okay,
Try to
here we go.
and clarify everything. Oh,
yeah, I found it here. So let me just get that link for you. So this is a great one. I answer a lot of questions on our forum, and I always come back to this because this is a great one. This is about improving your model performance. Right, you've probably not got enough data in your data set to begin with, and the quality of it is not high enough. Like, this is a really common one. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have good quality data, your model is not going to be able to recognize the patterns in it. And you need to, the more controlled that you can make your data set, the better. So what I mean is, we spoke a little about closed systems and open systems last week, and the more controlled and closed, like a laboratory environment, that you can make your data set, the better, right? Because you're going to have you're building this as one person. So likely you're not going to have 10,000 images in here. You're not going to have the variety that you really need. You need to really cut it down to scope it. Very controlled lighting, very controlled audio, very controlled distance from what you're trying to capture. Like, the better that you can, the kind of better that you can be with that, the better results you'll get in a small data set, for sure. And class imbalance as well is really important here. So if I go back to my object detection one here, and if I go to data acquisition, so I can see here, right, my lamp and my coffee, I've got 23 images in my coffee. I've got 18 images in my lamp. Actually, we've got a little bit of a class imbalance here. We should have 23 coffee and 23 lamp, and that would be a good balanced data set. So this model could be better at detecting coffee than it is lamps, and that could throw you off when you're testing, and you might not know if you weren't aware of what a class imbalance is. So if you read our documentation here around improving your model performance, you're going to learn about these types of tips and tricks. Class imbalance for one. Let's see the next one. Large difference between quantized and unoptimized model performance. So yeah, quantization, we could get into that a little bit. So this is about when if you are going to get rid of really all of the decimal points after your yeah, we don't really need to get into that one. I don't have a good illustrative way for that. Lowering the compute time. Let's have a look at this. So reducing the data set. Once you could have a very large data set. It could be a lot of repeated images in there, or stuff that isn't very useful. If you don't have enough variety, let's say in the angle of what you're trying to take, if you, let's say it was these I've got these spark plugs here that I made.
Wait a sec. Oops, sorry. Give me 1 second. This one, yeah.
It's okay. So I made I took some images of these spark plugs because I wanted to make an anomaly detection data set. But if you had a lot of the same image, the same angle of this spark plug, that would be kind of a waste really in your data set. You should be changing the angle. You should be getting a lot of different. You should be consistent with the distance for sure and the lighting in the background, and isolating it as much as possible. So I should be taking a picture of this in front of a clear piece of cardboard, for example. So you should have a very controlled images of your spark plug, many angles, controlled lighting, right? And you can go down through your data set and make sure that you don't have a lot of repeated ones in there. Clean that out. That'll reduce your data set size a little bit. Reduce the number of epochs. This is about lowering the compute time. This is really, we're following on to the question that we had earlier here about how do I get more resources for Edge Impulse. Actually, you don't need more resources. You need to just be conscious about what you are using and use it in do some data engineering to reduce your data set, improve your data set quality. Then you won't really need to throw more resources at it. Reduce the number of epochs. This is the training cycles that we go through. You're going to be able to start to dial that down. The standard I think that we have is around 30, I think. Early stopping.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah.
And please try to, Danito said that he got the point, and thanks a lot. My recommendation will be to document everything.
Yeah.
And all the iterations, everything that you do to train your model, or to bring more data, or what all the decisions, and explain why you do them. I think this is the most interesting part of this track.
Yeah.
So what else? Let's see if we can get more questions, at least on YouTube and LinkedIn. We are getting some questions. That's good. On Monday, we had 5 super interesting questions, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
lots. There's lots of information.
You can also train your model, and indeed, exactly. So this is what we say as well at the beginning. So you can train your machine learning model outside Edge Impulse, explain how you do it, and you can go to Hugging Face. You can go to many places. I put the link of the video where Louis was explaining exactly this, answering exactly this question. Okay. And then go back to Edge Impulse and bring your own model. I really like actually this track, Owen, because I think this can be a foundational part of a lot of future projects. I'm looking forward to see what are the submissions on the models track.
Yeah, we always get lots of questions on the forum as well around BYOM, like bring your own model. It's a really cool one for sure. If you've worked on a model outside of Edge Impulse and you could see how that model could be used on a device, or that could be a wearable or a machine health or industrial scenario. It'd be really interesting to see how one of these models that you've used before, let's say in your work with a Hugging Face or Kaggle data set, that you could see. Let's say here, my daughter, for example, made a really interesting one with strawberry brightness detector. It was she had an idea. She's 7. She had an idea to make. We were growing strawberries out in our garden, and she had an idea that wouldn't it be cool if we had a robot that was able to detect when the strawberries were ripe? When they go red. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, we could have done that with a color sensor on this Mindstorms, and we played around with that a little bit. But you can do it with the model as well, for sure. And we had a lot of fun just kind of like learning about that and taking some images. And so that was just a little thing that we did in our back garden. A project that we had that we were working on. But you could have an interesting project that you worked on in an ML space for a Kaggle project that you could see that you could use here too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Something interesting, if people are going to use public models, please add the references to them, add the licenses, and explain why you're using those models.
Yeah.
So I think this is interesting as well.
Yeah, this one here,
Sure.
the healthy patterns in leaves on a plant. This is a really interesting one. I've seen this a lot as well, and yeah, it's such a variety in plants that are out there as well. There's definitely a lot of agricultural uses for this. You know, you could be, you know, I know that we're right now we're live in a lot of different countries at the moment. You know, there could be lots of different aquacultures and agricultures and different unsolved problems that are out there for sure, and spaces that are ripe for Edge AI solutions.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
it'd be really
I
interesting.
think if we don't have more questions, we're going to end here the stream. Let's see if on YouTube or LinkedIn we get more comments. My last recommendation, document everything, explain why you do things, how you do that, and explain everything. Important, use the README from Edge Impulse. I'm not sure if you, now that you're sharing screen, Owen, you can go to your studio and explain and show how to write the README.
Oh yeah, for sure. So right, we can go here to the dashboard. So we could add a README
about this project. Yeah. So this is important. You will need to publish your Edge Impulse project that will appear on the public in the site of public projects on Edge Impulse.
Yeah. So will we?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is in Markdown, so we can have just hash for a heading, and then 2 hashes for a subheading, 3 hashes for another subheading. And you can have, you know, a bullet point here as well if you want. So this is our object. And actually you can add an image as well, I believe. So could grab a image.
I have seen projects with.
Now let's go here, object detection dashboard.
I have seen READMEs with images, so yeah, that's possible. So basically, just follow the Markdown instructions, and but this is important that this README it's completed as well. If you're doing a model, so this is key, then you can use the GitHub repo to share more details about your model and your story and your iterations, etc. If you are using an Edge AI application, of course, you will need to share to publish your project plus the GitHub repo with all the open source. Remember to add a license to your code, but yeah, it should be open source. We would like to have enough instructions to try to reproduce your application ourselves or anyone. I think this is the most interesting part of the documentation, to allow anyone to build documentation, to build that project by themselves based on your documentation. So that's my recommendation. And what else?
Yeah, I'm going to grab one of the projects that Jenny did here that has a good README in it that we can bring up on anomaly detection. Let me just get it.
Okay. Are you finding it?
Yep, I'm just looking in the in our projects. 1 second now.
Okay. So what else? Yeah, it's important that you click Publish Project here on the Edge Impulse dashboard. as well when you do your. I think we explained everything the first video, the first EMEA session that we record. Hello, Electro Shenu. How are you today? So last minutes to ask any questions to us about the Edge Impulse Hackathon. Feel free to ask.
Okay, here we go. This is a really good one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can see here, Jenny added the a nice GIF that shows the snake gesture that we're trying to detect. So this is a really illustrative example for sure. Great in a README. It'll tell us about the sensors. This is really, it's telling us about the project, about the, you know, if you can use an illustrative GIF, like this tells us a lot about what we're trying to detect here. It's a snake motion, and it's telling us what the accelerometer, you know, what this features from the sensor and block is here, but we could also speak about the future as well. So, you know, maybe you want to use this snake motion detection as a human interface device, and then you should expand on that here in the future and just say, oh, I'm going to use this for a
we have a question, Owen. Yep. What license is the best?
What license is the best?
To license a project or a model. That's a peer discussion, no?
That could be a long discussion in itself, I guess. So if you look at all of our public code, let me see what I think we have BSD on our public Git repo for pretty much everything, but you could have Apache 2.0, I guess. It's a permissive license you can use for open source. So it lets people use it freely and modify as they want. I'd probably go for, I mean, Apache 2.0 is probably the default, right? But if you look at our Git repos, for example, I think it's BSD. What would you think, Mark? What do you typically go for in your projects?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I have used many different ones, but I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what to recommend. So my recommendation is, yeah, go to some of your favorite projects, check what they use, and then just Google that license and try to read why they use that license, if it's MIT, if it's Apache, if it's Creative Commons, if it's what. But yeah, do it. Yeah, at the end, the goal here is to enable anyone to build these projects or rebuild them by themselves. So my recommendation is to use a license that allows anyone to use that project. Yeah, BSD3 can be a good one. Yeah, so just make sure that anyone can reuse the project. Maybe just don't allow them to resell your project without you allowing them to do it. That can be perfect.
Yeah. So I guess like it's up to yourself, really. It's about how much control you want to retain on what you create. And actually licenses are, well, it's a discussion in itself, really, but it's something that you should be familiarizing yourself with, and you don't want to feel that you've been, if you pick the wrong license for something, you're not going to get credited for the work, and you're not going to have ownership over it either. So just be really careful. It's not like something that you throw in without making a decision. It's a conscious decision. It's like, is this a product that you want to develop yourself? Is this a cause that you want to support? Do you want to do it without any recognition? Are you just like a hero and you just want to see things done for the greater good? Or do you want to get your name in lights? So it's really a personal decision as well. Do you want to profit from this? Do you want to better humanity, or do you want to better yourself? So think about it, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, you could go into discussions about this for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah, this is why I call it a beer discussion, because you need some beers to, and it's almost impossible to agree. You know, some people will say that they prefer BSD3, others Apache, others MIT, others whatever.
Yeah, it's a passion, I think.
It's passionate. Topic. What else? Any other question? Last minute. If not, we will end this stream and wish a lot of luck to all the participants to the hackathon. We're looking, I think, in the last days, right, we are going to see a lot of new submissions. We already have a lot of submissions, but I think there is still a lot of place to create more impact on this hackathon. So just try to submit. The sooner the better. No worries much about the video. Remember, we had a lot of questions about the video on Monday in the AMA session in the US time zone. No worries about much video. It's not mandatory. It's a nice to have. Don't overcomplicate the video if you want to record. I think it's good that if you have something that works, it's good that you show it, you explain why, did you take some decisions, why you did. But don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to do super complex video. But what else? What last recommendation would you give, Owen, to the participants?
I would just say, know your area. I've said it a few times already. Just learn the tools. So learn about object detection, what it gives you. Practice a few models. Practice a few projects on object detection if you wanted to be able to detect an object, a car in a car park. Follow a few of the examples. See if you can reproduce the example, and then try and build your own one. So reproducing the example is important, because just like when you're reading any software book, do the exercises. It teaches you about it. If you make a mistake, you have a point of reference to compare to. If you're trying to build your own car park detection project and you haven't followed the example, you could be making mistakes and you don't have any frame of reference for that. So it's really important to familiarize yourself with the tool that you want to use to solve the problem.
Yeah. So I think with that, if there is no question from Discord or YouTube or LinkedIn, we're going to end this stream. It has been so fun to do these AMA sessions during this hackathon. We have thousands of people registered, so looking forward to see the results.
And as well, get on our forum if you have any questions. If you didn't feel comfortable with asking a question here, come on our forum, join on our Discord, and ask us questions directly. It's not going to be recorded, and you can. There's no silly questions.
I put here the Discord address, so join our Discord channel server. We can help you from there in these last 4 days. I will try to be as well Saturday and Sunday aware of the last comments there, in case that there is people with that need some help. But and then if the question is super complex, I also always suggest to go to the forum, so all of our engineers can help there. But I think it's a good idea to join our Discord channel.
And I mean, once this hackathon is finished as well, just share your thoughts about your projects as well afterwards. Continue to engage with each other, and we can hopefully grow some ideas from these projects as well. It'll be really interesting to see the follow on for sure.
Absolutely. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your comments on LinkedIn and YouTube. Today Discord was a bit silent, but thanks as well for joining. And see you in 2 weeks. Actually, the 8th of February, we're going to announce, 8th of February, 8th of December, sorry, 2025.
We're going to take a really big break.
I said as well that on Monday, 8th of February. I don't know what happens on 8th of February. But the 8th of December, Monday, we're going to announce the winners of the hackathon. We're going to do a big party here as well on Discord, YouTube, and LinkedIn to celebrate these and announce the winners. And and looking forward to see the submissions and to see the winners. Thank you very much, Owen, for joining this session, and see you everyone on Discord.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye.
Bye.